John Cena has competed in 16 WrestleMania matches, and today I am going to be ranking every single one of them. From WrestleMania 20 to WrestleMania 39, John Cena has had some good matches, some great matches even, and as much as I hate to say it, he has had some stinkers. I'm ready to jump into this, but before we do, please make sure to like, subscribe, and put on those notification bells so when more videos like this and other daily wrestling content comes out, like Sporkle quizzes, WWE 2K games, whatever it may be, when those videos come out, you can watch them ASAP. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Let's jump into this. We are starting off at WrestleMania 20 against The Big Show. This was for the United States Championship, John Cena's very first WrestleMania match and title match at Mania. I'm going to put this in C. I think it's a high C. I think it could have been on the B tier if the ending wasn't as bad as it was. People's opinions on it might be different, but John Cena hitting Big Show with the first FU, Big Show kicking out, and then John Cena having to hit him with the chain and then another FU to win it, to me was stupid because the moment that he picked him up off his shoulders, that's supposed to be the huge, like, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant-esque moment, right? You did it the first time. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, he did it. And then the Big Show kicks out, where it's like, if you just did it once where you hit him with the chain and then picked him up for the FU, that would have been the perfect moment. The crowd wouldn't have been like, oh, we just saw that a minute ago. So the second time around wasn't as impressive. At least that's how I saw it. Cena took a beating the whole match, and it was a David and Goliath type of thing. So it wasn't the worst match ever. It could have been better, in my opinion, if the ending wasn't as bad. So I'm just going to put it in C. Not the best start, but also not the worst start. Joining John Cena in the Big Show in the C tier is going to be John Cena and JBL. This was John Cena's very first WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. The next year at WrestleMania 21, he defeated JBL to win the WWE title in a pretty boring, straightforward match. There was really no big spots here. Just like the year prior, John Cena basically took a beating from JBL, and it worked with Big Show because it's the Big Show, but with JBL, it just didn't feel right. John Cena didn't take any finishers. I'm pretty sure there was only one finisher the whole match, and it was the FU to win it. It just didn't have a championship feel. It's tough that we're starting in C twice here, but I think this match could have actually been worse. I'm putting it in C because the moment itself, like, him winning it, he's with the crowd, like, first championship win, like, that means something. So that's why I'm putting it in C. Next up, we have a heavy hitter. We have one of John Cena's greatest WrestleMania matches of all time against Triple H at WrestleMania 22. For the WWE Championship, John Cena walked in as champion and walked out still WWE champion. The beginning of this match was like Triple H was dog walking John Cena. It was like that big brother who was fighting his little brother, but the big brother is still like very much at the top of his game in his prime, and he was just like schooling John Cena, like the big brother, like, hey, you're the little brother, I'm still always gonna be better than you. Like, that's how this match felt for the most part, or at least towards the beginning, because John Cena did come back and it became an absolute fight. The crowd was electric, and the crowd definitely took it up a notch because it just felt like a big championship match. Triple H took out the sledgehammer, hit John with that, he kicked out. John Cena hit Triple H with the FU, he kicked out. It was like, John Cena ended up having Triple H tap to the STFU, and I feel like that's how the match needed to end because John Cena just looked like he fought for that win. He absolutely deserved to retain that championship because Triple H really did put him through hell. He fought adversity, a hostile environment. The crowd was very pro Triple H, so it was like John Cena had his back against the wall, didn't have anyone supporting him, and he still came out on top. And this was very much like a passing of the torch moment, kind of. Like, Triple H isn't going anywhere, but John Cena, main event of WrestleMania, walking in and walking out as WWE champion, that is a huge moment for him in his career. So this one, comfortably putting it in S. Speaking of putting comfortably in S, we are putting John Cena versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 23 in the S tier. John Cena, again, walks in to the main event of WrestleMania as WWE champion and walks out as WWE champion. This was very similar, but so well done compared to the year before, because this again was like the vet versus the student. Shawn Michaels was kicking John Cena's ass for the first part of the match, and I think Jerry Lawler said Triple H was giving John Cena a wrestling lesson, and there really was no better way to describe it. HBK just kept one-upping John Cena. He was targeting his leg. He even came out to the DX theme song that I completely forgot about. That takes it up a notch. But again, the match itself it really was phenomenal. I mean, Shawn Michaels, one of the best wrestlers in the world. John Cena coming off of the biggest WrestleMania match of his career, the biggest match of his career the year prior. So he had to, at least keep it at that level or one-up it. During the match, Shawn Michaels does get busted open, and that just completely turned the match around. The ref goes down because of Sweet Chin Music. John Cena gets hit with the pile driver on the steel steps. This was just back and forth. Big move after big move. Reversal after reversal. Near fall after near fall. This was like the perfect WrestleMania main event wrestling match. In the cherry on top of the sundae for me was John Cena did make Shawn Michaels tap to the STFU, but he actually made the STFU look believable. Now, the STFU, or the STF as it's called now, I like calling it the STFU because that's the original name and they shouldn't have changed it. The STFU is a better name. Anyways, it is one of the weakest submission finishers of all time, depending on how John Cena actually makes it look. Because there are some times, and I'm sure I'll talk about it when we get into other WrestleMania matches, but there are times when it just looks like he's lying on top of them. And it's like, how was this? Like, why did they let him use this for as long as they did? And then there are some times where he actually looks like he's choking the shit out of the opponent, which he did to Shawn Michaels. And that is the way a WrestleMania match should end. And that's how any match using that submission should end. But he did it the right way this time. If he didn't, I would have been a little bit more deflated. I don't know if it would have been brought down to A, but thank God it was a good-looking STFU Shawn Michaels tapping. Great match, phenomenal ending to the match, comfortably putting it in S. WrestleMania 24, John Cena versus Randy Orton versus Triple H. This was the year that John Cena returned in the Royal Rumble, got his match. I think him and Orton had a one-on-one match at No Way Out. Randy Orton got disqualified. Triple H, I believe, won an Elimination Chamber. I could be wrong, but somehow they all worked their way into this match, and this was a big nostalgia match for me because this was I think this was the second WrestleMania that I've ever seen. The first one that me and my friend got on pay-per-view, or our parents got for us on pay-per-view, and I always remembered it as being one of the biggest matches of my childhood because it was the three biggest names. Watching it back, though, I'm only going to put it in B because watching it back, it's one of those things where in my head, as a kid, the match is better than when I go and watch. I'm like, it's not really as good as I thought it was. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very good match. It's a fun match. It's medium paced. Randy Orton is a slower wrestler around this time too. He's just stomping on people's limbs, taking his time, being all maniacal and shit like that. Everybody got their shine. I mean, it went for 15 minutes. I just think when you have a star like Cena and Triple H and Orton, who wasn't the biggest, he was a WWE champion, but he was the underdog going into this match, and I'm happy he got a lot of control on this match to make him look believable. But you have three of the biggest stars in your company, and you only go 15 minutes. I feel like the match should have gone longer. When you have these three big names, you kind of expect this to be one of the best, not one of the best WrestleMania triple threat matches of all time, but just one of the best triple threat matches in history. Again, the match was good, but I also felt like it was just very safe. I think they were held back from making this an amazing match, or it could have gone bumped up to A or even S. And this is one of those matches where I think people have different opinions on, but watching it back, it doesn't hit as much for me as it did when I was a kid. Still love the match. All three of them are great, and I'm happy Randy Orton won. The ending where he punched Triple H as he's pinning John Cena, love that ending. But I am going to put it in B. Now, this might be a hot take. But we have John Cena versus Edge versus The Big Show. Edge came in as World Heavyweight Champion. John Cena wins the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm putting it in A. I actually preferred this match more than the WrestleMania 24 triple threat match. Everybody looked awesome this match. It was very fast paced. It was a cycle of for 5 minutes, John Cena is on top. He's taking control of everyone. Then it's Edge that's taking control. Then it's Big Show. And Big Show looked like a monster this match. If I didn't know the results of this, going into the match and all that, you would have thought that the Big Show was going to win because he was dominating. At one point, he was tied up against the ropes. He was tied in the ropes. He was screaming the whole time, and it was so funny just hearing him scream while Cena and Edge are fighting, and then they both went down. He's yelling at the ref to let him out. It was a really funny moment, but this was just a super fast-paced match. There was always something going on. And the ending where John Cena picks up Big Show and Edge, and he doesn't do a move or anything. It really is funny how he does that, but they're really only on his shoulders for a few seconds. Still unbelievably impressive. Obviously, I can't say anything about being able to lift a 500-pound man and then another 200-pound man on top of it, but iconic finish. We always remember those two on Cena's shoulders. Attitude adjustment to Big Show. Edge on top of Big Show. John Cena winning the belt. Pretty feel-good moment. So I'm going to put it in a, again, hot take. Hot take. People might say that the WrestleMania 24 triple threat match should be higher, but that's just my opinion. I wish WrestleMania 26 versus Batista was better, because these two, like, if you know me, you've been following me for a while, you know Jeff Hardy is my favorite wrestler of all time, but Batista is my close second favorite, and him and John Cena were the world champs when I started watching wrestling. Like, growing up in my childhood, those two guys were always the guys, whether it was Raw, SmackDown, being the face of that brand, whatever, and then they finally meet off at WrestleMania. I believe this match was supposed to happen the year before. I read up that Batista was hurt for 25, so it didn't happen, but I'm only going to put it in B because there was no really crazy big moments. It was, besides a top rope knuckle shuffle, Cena kicked out of a Batista bomb, Batista kicked out of an AA, they were doing, their finishers and stuff. The match was fine. Batista as a heel, I wish he stuck around longer in this time because, man, heel Batista was money. He was so good this match. It's a shame that we only got him for a short time before he left. The match was fine, but again, I brought it up with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23 and the STF. I just don't get how John Cena, all these years, just didn't think to, maybe we should make this look a little bit more serious. Like, why didn't he choke out Batista like he choked out Shawn Michaels? It was just, he puts his hands in front of him, and it's not even a crossfade. To me, it really doesn't ruin the end of the match, but it really does bring it down a bit. I'm putting it in B because it's two big names. I think it should have been better. The match was fine, like I said, but when you think of two of the best of an era in one match, you expect better. So this match should have realistically been an A or maybe even an S, but I have to put it at B. It's tough. Okay, John Cena versus The Miz. I'm just going to put it in D for now. The whole situation was just ridiculous. First of all, the build up to this was Rock and John Cena. It was like The Rock and Cody Rhodes last year, to be honest with you, or if you were a non-wrestling fan from the outside looking in, you would have thought the main event would have been The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. Totally understood. I get that. And in this case, if you asked a non-fan who's main eventing WrestleMania 27, you would probably say John Cena and The Rock. And you know what? At this point, maybe they should have just had 3 main events in a row, because this match, it just wasn't good. I mean, shout out to The Miz. He did his best. I just don't think that's a position that he should have been put in. The count-out finish is just, what are we doing? That's just, you're ending on a count-out at WrestleMania, the main event of WrestleMania, and then I know The Rock comes out. Of course, The Rock comes out, gives his the millions, if you smell, all that bullshit. He comes out, the Raw GM thing starts going off again. It's the main event of WrestleMania. Why is the stupid Raw GM getting involved? It was very boring. The Rock restarted it, hit Cena with the Rock bottom, of course, and The Miz wins. The Miz got a nasty concussion from hitting his head from the countout finish where they went over the barricade. Much respect to The Miz for finishing that. And I've seen clips online of him being asking if he did well. He's reassuring that he did what he had to do, and shout out to The Miz there, but man, the match fucking sucked. Speaking of The Rock, WrestleMania 28, I'm putting it in S. Listen, once in a lifetime, The Rock versus John Cena. The vibes couldn't have been better. The aura couldn't have been higher. It was two of the best sports entertainers, best WWE superstars of all time going at it. Finally, after all these years, and they delivered. It was really cool seeing The Rock kind of getting a one-up on Cena early on, and Cena had to walk out and regroup and everything, being this isn't what I expected. Who the hell is this guy? It was honestly a pretty great technical match between the two. John Cena and The Rock aren't known for being technically sound wrestlers, the more I'd say on the entertaining side. It wasn't a crazy spot-filled match. Like I said, it was more like technically sound, but they just meshed so well, and they didn't need the big spots. Like neither superstar is, known for that. Like I kind of mentioned, The Rock did hit a top rope crossbody, which in 2012 in his first match in what was it, 8 years? Wild to see. And this match just really felt like both guys were just trying not to lose. They just didn't want to lose to the other. The ending of the match, like it's an S, okay? It's an S tier match. But I hate the rock bottom as a finisher. I hate, like, it worked here. I get it. But, like, The Rock and John Cena, their finishing and signature moves just aren't the best, considering they're two of the best wrestlers of all time. But, like, a rock bottom, you're just lifting the guy 2 feet off the ground and hitting his back on the ground. And then the people's elbow. I don't even have to get into that. And then the AA, STF, I don't want to get into that either. But I do love how the match ended. The Rock hit the rock bottom because Cena was getting too cocky. He was doing the people's elbow thing, whatever, got caught up. So the match ending was great. The rock bottom just isn't the most believable finisher, but doesn't take away from the match. Still an S. And also joining them in S is WrestleMania 29. And I'm going to say this. They're both an S, okay? I actually think this second match turned out to be better than the first one. The story of John Cena having to redeem himself and the announcers being like, if he loses again, it's the biggest stain on his career. Like, he's a Hall of Famer, but he'll always be known to losing to Dwayne twice. He can never win the big one, which is beating The Rock. This match was definitely more of like a finisher fest and more of like a big spot match compared to the year before. And that might be why I enjoyed it more, because it really was just them throwing everything at each other. You knew that they weren't going to have another match after this one, at least for the foreseeable future. It's to be seen if those two will face off this year in the big year of 2025, John Cena's heel turn. But they were throwing everything at each other. John Cena lost to The Rock bottom the year before. He kicked out of like 3 or 4 of them. He was kicking out of people's elbows. The Rock was kicking out of AAs and everything. There was one point in the match where John Cena was getting cocky again, and then he like went to, bounce off the ropes, held himself because he was like, oh, I fell for that last year, whatever, I'm not doing it again. Just to be hit with the rock bottom a few seconds later was, man, if they ended it on that would have been that would have been one of the craziest things ever. And then there was one point where The Rock got too cocky. He started doing the you can't see me, and Cena almost pinned him there. That would have been just full circle moment. That would have been a crazy ending too. But it was at the end, John Cena was trying to hit the AA. Rock was trying to hit the rock bottom. They kept reversing. Cena finally hits the AA, gets the win, and I had a ball watching this match. Just an amazing professional wrestling finisher fest match between two of the best in the business. So this match, I think, was better than the first one. I think they're very close. The first one, you have the vibes, the aura of it being the once in a lifetime, and of course the second one being twice in a lifetime definitely takes away from it a tad bit, but it was still a phenomenal match. And John Cena and The Rock, you put them in a match one-on-one and you're gonna get magic. This one pains me. This one really actually does pain me to put in D, because John Cena defeating Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30 is, it's one of the most stupidest WrestleMania match decisions of all time. Let's bring it back a little bit. The video package going into this was just unbelievable, and it reminded me how good this story really was. First of all, fuck John Cena, or fuck Vince McMahon. Whoever's call it was to have John Cena win this match, boneheaded decision. I don't care if Bray Wyatt won the next match at the next pay-per-view, whatever the fuck it was. Bray Wyatt should have won here. It would have, I'm not saying his career would have been night and day different, but like, this just would have helped his career so much, beating John Cena at WrestleMania. And like, it's just one of the many instances of WWE fucking over Bray Wyatt and booking him terribly that makes zero sense. Like, the whole thing of the match was John Cena was having like mental breakdowns. Like, he's trying not to become evil because he doesn't want to bring out that side that Bray Wyatt's trying to bring out of him. And I get like John Cena's questioning himself, but like, he's throwing punches and kicks and he's like having a panic attack. And then he lifts up a set of stairs and I was like, I can't do this. I'm sorry, I can't do this. It's not in me. And he throws it to the side. Bro, like the first match I thought it was against Umaga. 3 years prior, or however many years prior, when he choked him out with the rope and was using steel steps. You can't use the steel steps here because you're afraid of becoming too evil. That, like, I get it. It's part of the whole Bray Wyatt thing, like head game shit. But like, it was just so unnecessary. Just everything. Bray looked dominant and great the whole time. And then John Cena just had his little comeback at the end and won it. Like, here's the thing. People would be like, oh, like John Cena needed the win, right? How he's going to lose to Bray Wyatt, who hasn't won at WrestleMania before. If there are people that say that, respectfully, I don't want to say you're an idiot, but like, he beat The Rock the year before. That win, like, he already cemented himself before that win, but him beating The Rock the year before, he could lose the next 5 WrestleManias and he would be okay. He did not need to win this match. He could have afforded a loss, and it's just, I was thinking of putting it in C because the match itself was like fine, right? Like, I don't know if it's as on the level as The Miz, but the ending where Cena finally brought out his evil side and then hit Rowan with the chair. Not even Bray Wyatt. He hits Rowan with the chair. Fuck out of here. Yeah, okay. Hits him with 1 AA and the match is done. Yeah, okay, buddy. John Cena versus Rusev. Honestly, pretty enjoyable match. I forgot Rusev was undefeated going into this match. This was a pretty standard back and forth match, just like undefeated Rusev dominating John Cena. He accidentally hits Lana at the end. John Cena hits the AA, wins it. Crowd was going crazy. Lay loved it. But hear me out, I think a better ending was if Rusev got caught in an STF and then passed out from it. I think him getting pinned, I don't know, you kind of ruined the momentum a little bit. Granted, hindsight 2020, John Cena goes on that US title open run, so it's okay that he won here and beat Rusev. But if you wanted to keep Rusev looking dominant and not weak, you could have just had him get choked out to John Cena, not tap or get pinned. But the match was still good. I enjoyed it. And yeah, we got a great US title reign out of it. So I think for all that alone, I think B. It's kind of tough seeing him next to Batista and Randy Orton and all of them, but hey man, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, we are down to our last 4, and I'll tell you guys what, these aren't going to be the highest ranked WrestleMania matches that we are going to have on this list. So WrestleMania 23 with Nikki Bella, they defeat The Miz and Maurice, and this is a D. This probably is the easiest match to put in the D tier, to be completely honest with you. Poor Miz, you can't get a match higher than D here. John Cena, I actually noticed this. For most of his WrestleMania matches, he gets his ass kicked a lot. And he gets really, like, he gets that underdog rep go, like, and all this shit where it's like, it's John Cena going against The Miz. And again, no offense to The Miz, but like, John Cena should be the one whooping his ass and then The Miz trying to come back. But John Cena was getting his ass beat, tagged in Nikki Bella, and then they did the ending. And guess what? John Cena proposed to Nikki Bella. Surprise, surprise. That's literally what the whole purpose of the match was. The match sucked. I will never go back and rewatch this match. The only reason why I did was for this ranking review. That match is going to be kept in the past, and we're not revisiting that again. The Undertaker versus John Cena. What a tease this was. It was only a few minutes long. It should have went like 10, 15 minutes, to be honest with you, because Undertaker looked unbelievable. 1 year removed from losing to Roman Reigns, his second WrestleMania match, his losing a second WrestleMania match. No matter what way you try to spin it, it is crazy seeing someone like John Cena getting squashed at WrestleMania. Like, he did get a move or two in it. He went to do the 5-star knuckle shuffle, you can't see me, and then Undertaker sat up. It would have been nice if we got this match in their primes. You know what I mean? Like, when both were around full time, both were not, like, you know, in and out, whether it be for Hollywood or injuries or whatever it may be. The build-up was awesome, and like, even before the match, Elias coming out instead of the Undertaker was pretty funny. It's weird. Like, I don't know where to rank this. Like, I don't want to put it D, because the match was short, but it was a good match. Like, it was a good showing by the Undertaker. So I think I'm gonna put it C, because I can't put it D. I could just do like an NA tier thing, whatever, and put it in there, but it still was a match. So I'm gonna put it in C. I wish it was longer, but for what it was, it's very memorable. Like, actually, is it memorable? It might be one of those things where it's like, yeah, John Cena and Undertaker did fight. Whether it's memorable or not, I'm still putting it in C because, again, it was fine. Now, WrestleMania 36 versus The Fiend. I am going to give that its own category here. And I am going to put John Cena and The Fiend in NA not available because it wasn't really a match. Firefly funhouse match, like match is in the name, right? But genuinely, I probably would put this as high as A or even S because I loved every bit about this match. The build-up, the redemption, you can say, of Bray Wyatt or The Fiend finally beating John Cena at WrestleMania. The line here was ending the existence of the most overhyped, overvalued, and overprivileged WWE superstar in existence. Going into the match, John Cena referred to Bray Wyatt as that, but when the match ended and Fiend pinned John Cena or was about to hit his move on him, you could hear that line in the background where they're ending the existence of the most overhyped, overvalued, and overprivileged WWE superstar. But in this case, we're talking about John Cena. Everything just wrapped up so well, just between like John Cena dressing in his old attire, the whole, bringing back the old gimmicks and the promos, like the ruthless aggression, them doing the NWO stuff, the Saturday Night Main Event stuff. Watching these things genuinely is like, it's depressing because obviously Bray Wyatt isn't with us anymore. And The Fiend, I swear, was just one of the best characters, I believe, in my lifetime. I love Bray Wyatt. I love The Fiend. And ultimately, with this heel turn now, oh man, I wish Bray Wyatt was here, man, because he would be fucking going. He would have a field day with John Cena right now. He called it, man. I'm putting it in NA because it's not technically a match, but if it was up to me, if it was, if I wasn't doing that, I'd probably put it in A or S because that's how much I loved it. And lastly, we have Austin Theory beating John Cena for the US title at WrestleMania 39. I'm also going to put this in D. Oh man, everyone wanted Cena to win so bad. The way that this was set up, like Austin Theory was getting killed in the build up to this, whether it was a promo, like no one took Austin Theory seriously. And the match was like, it wasn't the worst match you'll ever see, but it was pretty boring. Like Theory hit John Cena with one low blow and one finisher, and then that was it. I don't even think Austin Theory got hit with an AA. And the worst part about this is WWE did nothing with this win. Austin Theory did absolutely nothing with this win over John Cena. Like, they wasted a John Cena WrestleMania match and him giving a win to someone. They wasted it on Austin Theory. And I like Theory. I think he's very talented. I'm personally excited for when he has a babyface run because I think he's a very believable babyface and I think people would actually get behind him. But the fact that they didn't launch Theory to the moon after this, he beat fucking John Cena at WrestleMania. You should give him a great story or direction after this, but instead his reign got worse, and I don't know how that's possible. It just makes you think of where things went wrong with Theory, man. But I'm putting that in D because just wrong person won. The match wasn't good, and I'm never ever gonna go back and watch that match. So here we are. This is my tier list. I'm looking over it now. We have 4 S's, 1 an A, 3 B's, 3 C's, 4 D's, and then 1 not available. I said at the beginning, he has a lot of great matches. 5 of them, 5 great matches. He also has some stinkers. Though those 4 in D are just unforgivable. I mean, 16 matches, you're gonna have some stinkers in there. Not everyone's gonna be great, but someone like John Cena, you'd think that a few of these would be bumped up a little bit more, but I think I'm gonna keep it the way it is. I think the only thing maybe I would change is putting the WrestleMania 24 triple threat in A, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it in B because that's why I wanted to keep it in. Do I want to put it in A? I do think the WrestleMania 25 triple threat match is better, but I mean, you know what? I'm going to put WrestleMania 24 in A because I think it is better than the Batista match, than the Rusev match, and it's a triple threat match, 3 of the biggest stars. I don't think it's as good as the WrestleMania 25 one, and it still is a nostalgia match. Not as good as I remember it being, but it is still a fun match, and I would go back and rewatch it multiple times in the future. So, okay. That's the change I'll make. So 4S, 2 and A now, and 2 and B. And everything else, I'll keep the same. Let me know in the comments how you would rank this. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells so in this video, other tier lists, video games, Sporkle videos, any other daily wrestling content that comes out, you can watch it as soon as it does. I appreciate you guys so much for being here and watching this. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Actually, no. You can't see, well, you'll see me all week, but yeah, you get the point. Peace.